Hi everyone, welcome to another episode. In this episode, we'll be doing a full summary or recap of Moby-Dick by Herman Melville. So if you've read the book or if you want to read it, then this should be very useful for you. If you haven't, then I guess it's an advertisement. I guess that depends on whether or not you want to read it. Anyway, before we start, if you love literature and learning, then make sure to subscribe so you can get notified every time we post a new summary. Let's get into the video. The book opens with the narrator Ishmael leaving New England in the hopes of going on a whaling voyage. He finds a ship called the Pequod and sneaks aboard. We also meet Starbuck, who is the first mate, and Queequeg, who is a harpooner. Captain Ahab arrives and he tells the crew that he is determined to hunt down the white whale that took his leg on his previous voyage. The crew begins to hunt for whales. They catch a few, but they are unsuccessful in finding Moby-Dick. Eventually, Starbuck warns Ahab to give up the chase, but he refuses. Ahab says that he will not rest until he has killed Moby-Dick. Moby-Dick is mentioned a lot in the book, but he doesn't actually appear until chapter 89. When he finally does appear, though, he is enormous. One sailor says that Moby-Dick was the largest creature he had ever seen. Another sailor says that the whale's head reached higher than the mast. At this point, Ahab becomes obsessed with killing the whale, and he spends all of his time planning how he will do it. The crew is very scared of Moby-Dick because he is so big and powerful. They know that it will take everything they have just to kill him. When the crew finally gets close enough to Moby-Dick, they begin to attack him with their harpoons, but the whale easily shakes them off. Ahab tries to harpoon the whale himself, but he misses. Moby-Dick then attacks the ship, and the crew quickly realizes that they are no match for the whale. The ship is destroyed, and the crew is scattered into the water. Ahab is pulled under the water and drowned. Only 2 people survive the encounter with Moby-Dick. They are rescued by a passing ship, and they tell the story of Moby-Dick to the other sailors. So that's a basic summary of the story. Now we'll talk about some of the main themes in the book. One of the major themes in Moby-Dick is good versus evil. This is symbolized by the conflict between Captain Ahab and Moby-Dick. Ahab is consumed by his hatred for the whale, and he is willing to do anything to kill it. Moby-Dick is shown as being powerful and destructive, but he is not portrayed as being evil. In fact, at times, he is shown as being noble and even majestic. This makes the conflict between Ahab and Moby-Dick more interesting because it is not a clear-cut battle between good and evil. Instead, it is a battle between 2 forces that are both powerful and dangerous. Another important theme in Moby-Dick is man's relationship to nature. Melville was very interested in the natural world, and he was particularly fascinated by whales. In Moby-Dick, he explores the beauty and power of nature through his descriptions of the ocean and the whales that live in it. He also shows the dangers of nature and how it can be unforgiving to those who try to conquer it. Ahab's obsession with killing Moby-Dick is ultimately what leads to his destruction. He is consumed by his own ego, and he does not respect the power of the whale or the ocean. A third theme in Moby-Dick is fate. From the beginning of the book, there is a sense that Ahab is doomed. He is haunted by his past, and he is unable to escape his fate. There is also a sense that the other characters are fated to die. For example, Starbuck tries to warn the others that they are in danger, but no one listens to him. He is fated to die along with the others. The only character who seems to be able to avoid fate is Ishmael. He is the one who survives the journey, and he is the one who tells the story. This suggests that fate is something that can be avoided if one is lucky or if one is able to conform to the expectations of others. One of the most important symbols in Moby-Dick is the whale itself. The whale is a symbol of the power and mystery of nature. It is also a symbol of the dangers of obsession and revenge. Ahab's obsession with the whale leads to the destruction of himself and everyone around him. The whale is also a symbol of good versus evil. As I said earlier, the whale is not portrayed as being evil, but it is also not portrayed as being good. This makes the whale a perfect symbol for the balance between good and evil that exists in nature. Another important symbol in Moby-Dick is the ocean. The ocean is a symbol of the unknown and the dangerous. It is also a symbol of the beauty and power of nature. The characters in Moby-Dick are constantly at the mercy of the ocean. They are dependent on it for their survival, but they are also in constant danger from it. This makes the ocean a powerful symbol of the challenges and rewards of exploring the unknown. A third important symbol in Moby-Dick is the ship. The ship is a symbol of civilization and the rules of society. It is also a symbol of the fragility of human life. The ship is destroyed by the whale, and this symbolizes the destruction of Ahab's civilized world. It also symbolizes the fragility of human life in the face of nature's power. Those are the major themes and symbols in Moby-Dick. If you want to learn more about the book, then I would recommend reading a literary analysis. That should give you a better understanding of the deeper meaning in the book. I hope you enjoyed this summary of Moby-Dick. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss any future summaries. Thank you for watching.